Welcome to What's Math. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my channel. This video will focus on linear inequalities. Solving linear inequalities. You solve them just like an equation by using undo or opposite operation, except when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you must flip around the inequality sign in the opposite direction. Example. Negative 4x is greater than negative 32. If this was a normal equation, you would divide both sides by negative 4. And because I'm dividing by negative 4, the inequality sign needs to turn the opposite direction. So my answer is x is less than 8. Example, negative 2x is less than or equal to 100. If this was a normal equation, you would divide both sides by negative 2. And because I'm dividing by negative 2, if you take a good look, the inequality sign is turned in the opposite direction. I use two examples because I don't want you to think that the sign is turned in the opposite direction because the answer is positive or negative. No, it's because we divided by a negative number. So it's whenever you divide or multiply by a negative number that the inequality sign is turned in the opposite direction. Very important. Otherwise, your statement will not be correct. It will no longer be correct. Your answer tells you the point. The side of the inequality facing the variable tells you where to shade. I write it as a V because I don't want you getting the habit like, oh, that's the less than sign and that's the greater than sign, because it's all about which side the variable is on. The variable could be on the left or on the right side of the statement, so you want to pay attention to the variable. Be careful. We're going to put an R in the open part of the inequality sign and an L and the pointy tip of the inequality sign. The R means the shade to the right, and the pointy tip, the L, means the shade to the left. Set notation when we're analyzing the shading. And we always go from left to right when we're reading it. We want to figure out where it starts and comma where it ends. By any chance, if there are more than one region that is shaded, you need to unite them by using the U symbol for uniting more than one pieces or sets. Now, if you see the less than sign or the greater than sign of negative infinity, of positive infinity, all those are open, so you have to use a parentheses. If you see greater than or equal or less than or equal, those are closed, and then you have to use a bracket. In some program, the parentheses is an open circle, and the brackets will be a closed, a shaded circle. Okay, they mean exactly the same. Now, whenever you're using a parentheses or a bracket, it must open towards the shading, almost as if it's trying to eat the shading. Solve for x minus 9 less than or equal to 11. Let's remind you guys of the rules. Okay, so first we're going to solve like a normal equation. So I want to move that negative 9. The opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So 4x is less than or equal to 20. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Therefore, x is less than or equal to 5. If you note, we divide by a positive 4, so therefore the inequality sign stays exactly the same. It did not flip. Okay. Remember, my answer would tell me the point, and my point would be 5 on the number line. You don't need to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The most important number is 5. As long as you have it out on the number line, you're okay. Every number line will always start with negative infinity and ends with positive infinity. Now, if I label the inequality sign in terms of the R and the L, the pointed tip gets the L and the open mouth gets the R. Now, we want to focus on which side the variable got. And in this case, the X got the L, which means I need to shade to the left. So everything to the left of 5. Now, I am using the less than or greater than symbol. That means I have to use a bracket. And if you notice, the bracket is open towards the shading. I'm almost as if it's trying to eat it. Okay. Now let's put it all together in my notation. Remember where it starts and where it ends. If you take a good look, my shading starts from negative infinity and it ends at 5. So it's parentheses negative infinity comma 5 with a bracket. Remember, all infinity, negative and positive, has to be a parentheses. And that would be your final answer. Solve 2x minus 5, open parentheses x plus 3, close parentheses less than 12. Let's bring the rules again. The first thing I want to do is distribute that negative 5 to everything inside the parentheses. So now we're going to have 2x minus 5x minus 15 less than 12. Then we want to combine like terms. 2x minus 5x is negative 3x minus 15 less than 12. We want to move that negative 15, so I'm going to add 15 to both sides. Now we end up with negative 3x is less than 27. Divide both sides by negative 3. And we are dividing by negatives, so we need to flip the inequality sign in the opposite direction. So now it's going to be x that is greater than negative 9. Now, my answer tells me the point. The most important point is negative 9. I'm going to put that on my number line. All number lines starts with a negative infinity and ends with a positive infinity. We're going to label the inequality sign. The open end gets the R and the pointed tip gets the L. And if I look at the variable, it received the n with the R, so that means I need to shade everything to the right of negative 9. We notice that it's just a greater sign, so therefore it's going to be a parentheses. And if we're going to put it in the set notation, remember is where it starts and where it ends. It starts at negative 9 with a parentheses and end with infinity, which is also going to be a parentheses. So my final answer should be negative 9 comma infinity close parentheses, and that would be my set notation. Go ahead and check for understanding. Solve 7x minus 5 open parentheses x minus 2 close parentheses greater or equal to negative 24. Solution. Solve 7x minus 5 open parentheses x minus 2 close parentheses greater or equal to negative 24. Let's put the rules so we can follow along with the rules. First, I want to distribute the negative 5 to everything inside the parentheses. So now I'm going to end up with 7x minus 5x plus 10, because the negative times the negative is positive, is greater or equal to negative 24. Combine like terms. So 7x minus 5x is 2x plus 10 greater or equal to negative 24. We want to subtract 10 from both sides. 2x is greater or equal to negative 34. Divide both sides by 2. Therefore, x is greater or equal to negative 17. The only point that is important to me right now is the negative 17, which goes on a number line. Every number line starts with negative infinity and ends with positive infinity. We're going to label the inequality sign. The L goes to the pointing tip, the R goes to the open mouth, and in this case, the variable, the X, gets the R. That means we shade everything to the right of negative 17. It's a greater or equal sign, so therefore we have to use a bracket. Now, for me to put in set notation, remember, is where it starts and where it ends. It starts with negative 17 with a bracket and ends with infinity, which is always going to be a parentheses. And that's the final answer. Please subscribe and like and share my channel and click that little bell for future notifications. If you like what you saw in this video, buy me a coffee. It's not mandatory, but thank you in advance.